I think we all go through it. It's kind of like burnout. I personally work best under stress.
Parker Charles Hodge.
That's me, bro.
Business is a reflection of yourself. If you're not doing good, the business is not doing good. So how are you doing?
My employee, lied and said we cut all of the yards. So when I charge everyone's card and 15 people are calling me like, why did you charge my card? You didn't even cut my grass, which took us all the way down from doing $18,000 to $20,000 a month back down to like 10.
Yeah, cut you in half.
10 or 12.
That's a horrible bleed.
It was awful.
You've been with someone for 5 years. The majority of that was with you maybe in a job doing this on the weekends, and then eventually you started doing this full time. Is that taking a toll? Or would you say it was for the best in terms of your relationship?
After our conversation, I kind of thought more of it, and I was remembering our conversations about this. Now I truly believe that it takes two special people to do it.
Well, like you said, with the one that burned you and lied, how could you build a culture where that doesn't happen again?
I think a lot of it is just...
Real quick, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, drop a comment, subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, leave us a review. It'll help us out big time, and it'll let us know that you guys actually like what we're putting out. All right, let's jump right in. Parker Charles Hodge.
That's me, bro.
Dude, this is low-key part 2 because we tried to do this last week and it did not work out.
No.
I wonder why.
Things got messed up. Audio got messed up.
I wonder why.
We didn't have a great location. You can't sit here and act like it was perfect.
It was not. This is much better.
Yeah.
Don't you think? This is much better. But Parker, let's try to recap a little bit of what we talked because I think it was good and I think people should listen to it. So let's start where we met.
Where we met.
Yes.
Okay. So Ricardo has a different memory of this, and I don't know why. So basically, we met at Landscape Summit 2023.
23, yes.
So I was sitting with Aiden, our other host, and we just happened to sit next to each other while we were doing the conference. And then I was like, hey, bro, you want to go eat together? He was like, yeah, sure, let's go. So we went and ate, and it was at conference. They had like meals for us. And we're standing in line. We go through the line. We all sit down. And next thing you know, more and more people show up. And they're like, hey, do you mind if we sit with y'all? We're like, no, go ahead. Well, Ricardo happened to be one of those people. And we got to chit-chatting and got everyone's phone numbers. And then we were like, all right, let's plan like a dinner after we meet, after conference. And you thought?
And I thought that I thought nothing was going to happen. I think, because usually like whenever I'm like at any of those conferences, like, oh yeah, let's go out like later and let's get some food and chat and whatever. Usually nothing happens because someone's wife or like because like, oh, I'm so tired, I'm gonna go to sleep, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, whatever. Maybe they'll text me, maybe they won't.
We end up texting you.
And then we texted, yep.
So we all went to TGI Fridays.
TGI Fridays, dude.
And Ricardo decided we were all talking about our numbers and how we're going, and Ricardo decided to bluff a little bit.
A little bit. I was just projecting. I was projecting future.
What do they call it? You were manifesting it.
I was manifesting future numbers, and it ended up working out. So
yeah, you're about there.
I am there.
Well, you said 400.
Oh, yeah, I'm about there. A couple thousand short, but
a little low,
but it's okay.
So, but basically, like, main thing we were talking about in the other pod that got messed up was just like, stop being enemies with the other competitors.
Yeah.
Like, be friends. Because that's basically how this podcast and how everything came about was like we decided to be friends here. And we were like, all right, let's learn off of each other because we have different insights, because you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. And I think one of the main reasons why we worked out so well, us and Aiden, is because we're in like completely different markets, right? Which is great, but you being 6 hours away from me, him also being 6 hours away, me being the middle point, it kind of does work out because we're all still in the East Coast. We're all kind of like same grass types, same like market types, right? Maybe a little different in terms of like demographics and
same relative
incomes. It's same relative. So there's a lot of variables that are pretty constant. So whatever it is that we talk about usually works out. So like when we say don't be enemies, we mainly say that as in from our perspective of like different markets. But if you are in the same market as somebody else, I think it might be a little different because you are competing against that person. But at the end of the day, if your market is big enough to house multiple people, then you should be fine. Like
The thing is
yeah.
it's not really competition in my opinion, because even where like I have 4 other competitors in my area that I communicate with on a regular basis. And a lot of times we send each other work. Like if he's too busy, he sends me something. If I'm too busy, I send him something, stuff like that. Like we always are doing that. And we usually call and have conversations and stuff all the time. But like there's enough grass out there for people to cut. Your real competitor is the chuck in the chuck in the truck that's going out there and lowballing you, you know? Like for an example, me and the one of my other competitors was talking one day, and I was like, what are you charging per hour, you know? And I was like, I'm not going to cutthroat you. I'm not going to go below you. Like I want to figure out what you're charging. So if they call me or you, they get the same relative price, you know, because chucking a truck over here behind us is going to come in for $20 lower than both of us anyways.
Yeah.
You know, like why are me and you aren't the competitors? We're just trying to weed out the chuck and the trucks that are going to mow till August, get hot, and then bounce.
Yeah.
So I think it's truly helpful for you and a local competitor to kind of bounce ideas off of and talk to each other. But granted, you don't have to keep them so close to you. Like just have conversation with them, you know? Like the good saying, keep your friends close, your enemies closer.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know? So yeah, I think that too. And I think the only thing that I disagree is that I sincerely don't think chucks and trucks are enemies, or they're like any kind of competition, because like they take themselves out regardless, right? And like for the people that don't know what chucking a truck is, it's essentially just like the bottom feeders, right? Like they
have a daytime job.
$20. They have it's like their side hustle, weekend warriors, however you want to call it. And this does not just apply to landscaping. This also applies to like any other business type, right? Like everybody starts somewhere, and you essentially start out as a chuck in a truck, which is fine. I mean, we all did it, right? But you eventually grow out of it. You know, if you stay in there, then, you know, that's like your deal. But it's not a real competition, because, you know, you can't stay. At some point, they give up. At some point, the quality goes down.
They get burnt out.
At some point, the $20 cuts look like a $20 cut. Yeah. So, yeah, they'll grow fast, but they'll grow so fast that's not good for them, for their own good.
They do end up taking themselves out. I'm not saying that they're like the biggest threat.
Oh,
you know?
They're not.
But I also think that I think that your person that's kind of equal with you is also not your problem.
Yeah.
You know, like it could just be my area. I mean, I would say try it in your guys' areas, you know, whoever's listening, or even you. Like, I think you guys would find a good common ground and be able to discuss things, you know. And one of the things that I tell all of them is like, I'm not going to take your employees. And if someone tells me that that they're cutting your yard, or that you are cutting their yard, and they want me to give them an estimate, I'm going to reach out to you and be like, hey, look, they're not happy with the service. This is why. If you don't want to service them, you know, that's fine. But I'm going to give you the opportunity to keep your client. You know, I'm not going to tell the client like, oh, I'm going to reach out to them, let them know how shitty of a service they're doing, and then whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I just be like, okay, you know, I'll go back to the office, do some estimating, and then I'll give you a call back. I think what it is just like having an understanding with them, and don't be, you know, unrealistic. Like, you're both cutting grass.
Both doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've called him with problems, and he's helped me, just kind of like we do with each other.
Yeah.
Or ideas.
And like, that is just the way that you, over time, you kind of just grow. Like, because you never know. Maybe that truck in the truck eventually, sometimes maybe he wants to get out, and he either sells you the clients, or he sells you equipment, or he gets you out of a pinch, or maybe he just wants to work. So he comes and works for you.
Exactly.
So the less enemies you have, the better. And, you know, it works out in the long term.
I don't think there's a reason to have enemies.
I don't think either. There's healthy competition, definitely, with like another.
I've had one enemy, and it was just funny more than anything.
The Facebook warrior.
Yes, the Facebook warrior that made up things about how the local Facebook group was ran by one of my family members, and me and that guy who runs it don't even know each other, never done work for him, nothing.
Yeah.
So
Anyways,
It was just a laughing
that was
stock.
a funny arc.
It was very
That
hilarious.
was fucking hilarious. But tell me, how has your season been so far? It's December 14th, so
This year,
this is pretty much it. You have like maybe like a week, and that's it.
this year's been rough.
Rough.
Like every year. I don't know, just like, again, granted, this is my second full-time season. I've done this for 2.5 years now. The half year is where I met you at the end of it.
Yeah.
So one of the big things, like, you always learn. You know, if you don't learn while you go, you're kind of doing it for nothing. You know. So like, one of the big things that I learned my first full-time season when I was going to do this full-time was, like, I focused so heavy on mulch. So March we call Mulch Madness, and the only thing I was doing was mulch. And then I didn't realize that, hey, mowing comes right after mulch, and I didn't do any advertising for mowing. So I went from doing like $23,000 a year, or $20,000 to $22,000 a month on mulch, to doing like $6,000 in mowing. And I was like, oof, that's bad.
Oof.
So I learned that the first season, learned a few other things for spring rush. And then this season was hiring the right people.
Yeah.
And not taking a vacation, you know, right in the middle of spring rush.
Hell yeah.
Of course, I got married and had some other stuff go on. Like,
The wedding was great, by the way.
the wedding was
That
fantastic.
shit was that was good.
It was great. It was a fun time. And the night before and the night after, or the
Wedding night.
The wedding night. That was great when we all went to your Airbnb and
Yeah.
got a little tipsy.
Dude,
So
shout out to the Airbnb. Not gonna lie, it was the hot tub. That
Yeah.
was probably the best part.
it was. It was only 30 seconds from my house, dude.
Yeah, it
was right there.
It was right there. So
So, but no, we had a blast. It was just crazy with, like, I think I overloaded my plate this season because I joined Augusta, and then had a wedding to plan, and then had all that stuff. So technically I'm not even really running as Augusta yet. Like, we're wearing the uniform, but the business isn't set up under Augusta until January 1st.
Yeah.
Because I had to make a decision of, like, struggling and putting everyone in the new CRM and getting all the cards on file and doing all that stuff,
Right.
while I was already going through a dumpster fire. Or I just wait until I have time in the winter. So I just decided to bite that off when it came. So that's kind of January. It's kind of like last week of December plan is get everyone rolled over.
yeah, I mean, so like the way that I did it was I just went straight for it, like just cut it off the neck as soon as I hit training, and it worked out because, like, to be honest, like, people don't give a shit. You know, they really don't give a shit. Like, just cut my fucking grass. You know what I'm saying? Like, do the service that I'm paying you to do, and it worked out long term. But I can understand, you know, everybody does things differently, and plus you did have a lot of shit to do with all your wedding and all that shit. So
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah, I was overloaded. I didn't want to add more stress, you know?
Hey, real quick, if you're still watching or listening, congratulations. You don't have the attention span of a goldfish. And it also seems like you like what you're listening or watching. So why not subscribe, leave a comment, like, or if you're in a podcast platform, leave us a review. It helps us out more than you think. All right, let's get back into it.
Okay, so understanding that the beginning of the season was kind of a mess with the whole focusing in one-time services versus like the recurring services that you should have done, which now you learned your lesson. What would be kind of the changes that you'll make this season to make sure that you actually get to the goals that you want to hit?
So I kind of started doing that. Like last season, I learned from the previous season. Well, I guess it was this season is when I implemented it. So I focused more on like, yes, we're going to do mulch. Yes, we're going to do great. I said, but the thing that we did differently is I took time to do marketing on both door hangers. Like while we were doing a mulch job, we would do 9 rounds, which is basically the 9 houses around the house that we were servicing. We'd put door hangers out. So wherever we stopped, I'd put door hangers out. Also, we would do door hangers. I would do door hangers in the evening, stuff like that, which it worked well this year because I went from last season doing $6,000 a month in April to this year we did $20,000 a month.
That's great.
So it was like 18 to 20, somewhere around there. And then the middle of May, I went on my bachelor party, and then my employee, lied and said we cut all of the yards. So when I charged everyone's card, and 15 people are calling me like, "Why did you charge my card? You didn't even cut my grass." And then beginning of the season, it's easy to find someone else. So they switched to someone else's service,
Right.
which took us all the way down from doing $18,000 to $20,000 a month back down to like 10
Yeah, cut you in half.
or 12.
That's a horrible bleed.
It was awful. So I had to get rid of that guy. I could have blamed him for everything, but really what it was is I didn't set him up appropriately for when I was gone.
Yeah.
So it was my fault, but again, he did lie. The last thing he had to do is just tell me like, I didn't have time. I didn't get to those last 15. I'd be like, okay, then when I get back on Monday, we'll just hammer them out, sunrise to sundown, just get them done, you know? But fortunately that wasn't the case. So I think this year's plan for Spring Rush is, yes, let's do mulch in March. But also I think what we're going to do is every day I'm going to require every employee, including myself, to do 50 door hangers a day. And we're also going to do yard signs, stuff like that. So this year we're going to, I don't know if it's realistic or not, but it's a long goal. I want to do somewhere around like 300,000 to 400,000, somewhere in that range.
300 to 400 what?
1,000 for
Yeah, that's
2026.
that's completely realistic.
I know.
It's really you and two other guys. Maybe maybe two crews.
Yeah,
Two
and
crews, essentially.
I have everything for it.
Yeah.
You know, like the only thing I don't have is the employees and the clients.
Well, the clients are going to get them regardless.
Yeah.
So it's just really about the employees and training.
Yeah.
Tell me, you've had employees here and there. What would you say is the biggest bottleneck when it comes to training really hardworking and trustful employees? Because like anybody can cut grass, anybody can do what it is that you do. But like you said, with the one that burned you and lied, how could you build a culture where that doesn't happen again?
I think a lot of it is just telling them what the values are and making sure that they understand the values. So like one of my number one things that I tell every brand new employee on day one, first hour, is like, if you break something, you tell me immediately. You don't wait till the end of the day. You don't wait until next week when the client calls me and I ask you about it. Like, you tell me instantly. And the reason that is because I want to get ahead of the problem. If you call the client, you're like, hey, I'm sorry we broke your window. I'm gonna come out later this afternoon and get measurements. Go ahead and try to get one on order. It looks a lot better than them coming home to a broken window and they call me pissed off. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
So it shows initiative to the client and makes them trust you more. So one of those things is just like telling them, you know, like also being a real person. Like, I know that it might be too much work. I know that this might happen, but if it does happen, just let me know and we'll figure out a plan. Like, don't lie to me because I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what his thought was,
Yeah.
you know? So it's just part of that. And then like training a hardworking person, is pretty good. The only thing is you have to be on them every second, because if they don't do something that you like, or if they do something that you don't like, you have to correct it immediately. Because if you don't, it becomes a bad habit, and they do it. It's harder to reverse a bad habit than it is to teach a good one.
Yeah.
So like even with the way that they weed eat, the way that they edge, the way that they mow, or anything like that, you know, I'm on them. I'm like, hey, next time let's try to do this, like, instantly. So it's just kind of like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. So do you think, because that kind of sounds like micromanaging, and I know for a fact micromanaging is not good. So do you think it's required at first to kind of set the level of expectation that you want, or?
There's definitely a difference between micromanaging and training.
Okay.
So once I feel comfortable with them and I know that they are doing what I want them to do, I let them run.
Yeah.
So I don't micromanage them. But day one, like the first week, 2 weeks, I am micromanaging them because I want them to learn the way that I want them to do things.
Right. Yeah. So it's like a faster feedback mechanism for them so they can correct it from the jump.
Yeah. Versus me learning a month in that they're doing something I don't like and then having to be like, don't do that. And now it's their natural habit to do the thing I don't like.
One of the main things that I learned this year, especially this year, was right after like the spring rush, right? So it was like June, July-ish, because in June was still pretty busy, but July, when it's slowed a little bit down, it got a little hotter. I got the chance to like stop, right? Stop, look around, slow down, see how I'm feeling. And I was completely burnt out. And I realized that most of it was because I went past my personal capacity, of everything that I was doing, right? I completely overloaded myself with everything. Now I know that I need to delegate much more, which is, things that we're doing this year. But I also realized that if I'm not okay, the business is not going to be okay, right? Because if I'm not willing to get up, do estimates, do sales, if I'm not willing to lead the team how it's supposed to be and all that, then the business is not going to do it. Like, it's not going to do well, right? Mm-hmm. So knowing that the business is a reflection of yourself, what are like your experience with that? As in like the same example that I went through. So you wake up and you don't want to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that. I think we all go through it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like burnout. I personally work best under stress.
Okay.
I don't like when things slow down. Mm-hmm. I kind of get bored and lazy when things slow down, but if I have too much to do, I'm a workaholic, So I think part of that comes from just like getting lazy and like used to it. Like, you're like, oh, well, we only got 9 yards to cut tomorrow. Like, I can sleep in a little bit, like stuff like that. You kind of get a little lazier, but it doesn't always work. It doesn't always help. Mm-hmm. I think one of the things with my business to kind of like get to that $450,000 goal, or for like $300,000 to $400,000 goal, would be, like you're saying, to kind of be more trusting. So the guy that I have now, that I went through a bunch of guys. I think I went through like 6 guys this year. Yeah. So this kid, I call him a kid. He's 18, but he works his butt off. He shows up every day.
Shout out Colton.
Doesn't call out. Doesn't do nothing crazy. So part of that is like a good thing. Next year, I think this winter before the spring really kicks off, I'm going to do some training sessions with them, and kind of get them trained up on the CRM and have them actually do some more stuff to help me out. So if we get to that point, I'm going to have him relatively helping manage the guys. And I'm going to be more focused on sales, stuff like that. So him managing the guys would look like, I'll have the route together the night before. He'll go through the route with the guys, make sure they have everything, and he'll send them off. And if they have a problem with something, they'll probably call him. Yeah. And if he'll be like the first filter. And if he doesn't know, then he'll call me. Okay. So it's
more like a crew lead kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like a crew lead. But again, I'll still be in the field as well. So I think I'll have a guy with him. First part of the season, probably 3 of us in a truck. And then if we grow to a fourth, right, then I'll have him with one of them and I'll have the other one. Yeah. So once I get the third one trained up, he'll ride with me, or he'll ride with Colton. And then the fourth one I'll train up, and then he'll probably rock and roll with me.
Sounds like you got to figure it out.
We'll see.
We'll see. Because nothing ever goes according to plan, sadly.
Unfortunately.
Right. One other thing that I wanted to touch on is, business-wise, things can go well, right? Things can go bad, whatever. You can fix that. You can fix that fairly easily, usually with money, right? There's some things that money can't fix, right? Like whether you're happy, whether you're sad, how you're doing personally, how your relationships are going. These are like things that money can't buy. So how are you doing personally so far?
With like happiness?
I guess. As in like, we can talk business all day, right? But like I said before, business is a reflection of yourself. If you're not doing good, the business is not doing good.
That's true.
So how are you doing? Are you doing good?
I'm fine. I'm chilling.
You're chilling?
Freshly married.
How is that? How's married life?
Married life's the same, bro. When you've been living with them for 7 years, we've lived together for 5. So
why it take you so long?
Oh my God, here we go.
Why it take you so long? 5 years is a long time.
What happened? You got married right at 18. What happened, dog?
Okay, dog. We don't even talk about that.
You kind of grow up, Like I wanted to see how she would be as an adult versus as a fresh adult. Okay. Because the fresh adults, they make stupid mistakes and then they learn from them and then they mature. So I wanted to kind of wait to see like how we would be through struggles before I sealed the deal legally and married her. So we kind of went through all of our fights and all of our big problems that we see, and we were able to come through the other end together. So at that point, I was like, it's time to get married, you know, like get ready to have kids.
So the deal, dude. So you guys are planning to have kids. When do you think that's gonna happen, or when are you planning for that to happen?
Probably 2027.
Another year.
2 years.
Damn, bro, you better make me an unk.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a dad, dude.
That'd be crazy.
It would be crazy. Yeah, we're kind of waiting because she graduates in May.
Okay.
And we kind of want her to. She mainly wants to be able to be in a job for a little while, and then have children. But she doesn't want to just like graduate, have a child, and then try to
Right.
get a job.
Right.
You know, so it's a smart plan.
It is. It is.
I wish it wasn't very smart because I'd be down to have a kid now, but
It's not the smartest thing.
no, we're gonna wait a little while.
That's not the smartest thing. No, that's
If we
great.
can, we'll wait a little while.
That's great. I think that I thought about it a lot about like children and family and all that. Definitely want to do it. And whenever I think of how I'd be like as a dad, honestly, like sometimes I look at employees and I'm just like, you know, you're just like a little kid. Like,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
gotta train you how to walk. I gotta tell you how to do the thing. I gotta like, you know, swat your hand away when you're doing something you're not supposed to do.
When you mess up, you get punished.
Yeah. So, and in my personal relationships, one of the main things that whenever I would come back home, or like when I would be with them, one of the main, I would call it like a kind of like a struggle point or a topic of arguments would be that, hey, I'm not your little employee. Like you gotta like, you know, cut it off, or like it would be like, you know, talk to me a little less harsh, a little less direct, a little more calmly. You know, you've been with someone for 5 years. You know, the majority of that was with you, maybe in a job, doing this on the weekends, and then eventually you started doing this full time. Has that taken a toll, or would you say it was for the best in terms of your relationship?
Like switching.
Yeah, like the whole entrepreneurial journey.
There's pros and cons. You know, like one of the cons of me doing it on the weekends was we didn't have any time really
Yeah.
together. If she was off on the weekends, I was out mowing grass, and then when I got home, I just wanted to rest because I knew I had to go to work on Monday. So it's opened up a majority of my time to focus on cutting grass. Like I'm not worried about trying to do two things.
Right.
But again, there's also times where I work harder doing this than I did just having a job and mowing grass. So like thankfully I kind of got lucky, but you know, my wife understands spring rush is
Very
like,
busy.
We are friends almost. You know, it's not the case. You know, I just say that, but
Yeah.
like I'm
friend zone her.
I'm basically either cutting grass or I'm in the office. And then when I get done with that, I have about an hour and then I pass out. So like she understands that for a good month, I'm pretty busy. I don't have time to really go and do the fun things. I don't really get to see family. I don't really get to go to friends or anything like that. It's mainly just like business because that is our busy time. So I think once we grow out of this portion of where I'm at now into a larger step, I'll be able to kind of break away from that, you know, which is always the goal, is to grow and get to the point where you're not doing everything. But like she knows that there's times where I can't take Saturday off or I can't take Sunday off.
Yeah.
I got to do stuff. And she's understanding of that, but
Yeah. I think I'm a strong believer that it takes a special person. It takes a special person to start something and actually, you know, do it for a long time, right? Stick with the same thing, like whether you're a business owner or whether you're like even like a regular job. It takes a lot to just do the same thing over and over and over again because we're naturally inclined to like novelty and new things,
Monotonous.
and whatever stuff. You know, we're not really made to be robots and do the same thing over and over. And especially as business owners and entrepreneurs, it takes a special person to do it, but it also takes another special person to be the one that's supporting that person, right? I've been in relationships where it's been great and it's not been great, right? Or whether that person thought that they were ready for that and then they weren't, right? So shout out to Caitlin. Caitlin's a warrior.
she is. She's gone through it.
Yeah, she's gone through
A
it.
lot of that is like I slightly disagree with you on this, and we talked about it last time. Was like it does take relatively a special person, but it's not really about the special person because it takes two special people. So,
Okay.
After our conversation, I kind of thought more of it, and I was remembering our conversations about this. Now I truly believe that it takes two special people to do it, because in a relationship, there's compromises. It doesn't matter if it's, I'm not, one thing personally, I'll live out of a laundry basket. I don't care. I hate folding clothes, but my wife can't stand clothes being in the laundry basket.
Yeah.
So the compromise was like, I'll put my dirty clothes in the laundry basket and she hangs them for me.
Yeah.
And what I do in return is I throw the clothes in the washing machine. So like I wash them and she folds and puts them away.
Yeah.
So a compromise in business is like, it did affect me with, I'd be laying on the couch at 8:00 at night and be watching TV with my wife. And then a customer would call my business phone and I'd jump up, answer, and be like, oh, this is so-and-so, what can I do for you? Whatever. And do the estimate or like try to talk to them. And then clients love to tell you their entire life story. So it takes you 45 minutes to get off the phone with them.
Right.
And then that would make her upset because now I've missed 45 minutes of the TV show or movie or whatever we were doing, it'd make her upset. So her coming to me rationally and being like, it's becoming a problem in our relationship. Like, you're always answering the phone. You're not taking time for just me. So in return, I compromised, and now I know my phone is off at 7. Like, I don't care if you're going to give me $1 million freaking contract. If you call me past 7, respectfully, I'm not answering the phone.
Right.
You can wait till Monday.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that we had to do, and that took two. Took her communicating with me, and took me realizing that her concern is valid.
Yeah. Of course.
And changing some stuff. Like there's some times where she's like during the busy time of the year and been like, oh, you're always gone. Da, 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 da. I'm like, well, right now I have to be if you don't want me to be later in the season. Because if I can fill the schedule now, I don't have to try to fill it later.
Yeah, it's not constantly. It's only temporary, but yeah, I mean I can agree. It takes two. I mean, it takes two to tango, right? But
it takes two because you have to be willing to. You have to be willing to understand and possibly compromise, and they have to be willing to understand, communicate, and compromise as well.
Exactly, and that's the big thing: communication, right? Not holding a grudge, understanding that the person's not doing this on purpose, right? Like you're not blowing her off and going away and working just because you want to. You don't want to be with her. Yeah.
In Caitlin's eyes, it was you see money over time with me.
Yeah,
and it's not the case. It's not how I felt. You know what I mean? So communication is number one. And if you don't communicate with your partner, your spouse, or your wife, whatever, or your husband and boyfriend, whatever, both sides, if you don't communicate, one or the other will start envying, or maybe not envying, but basically being upset at the other one because they're not communicating. So she had an understanding that I took money over our relationship, which is not the case. That wasn't how I felt. So it was just an assumption. So that's my hot take.
In the end, it worked. I don't even think it's a hot take. I think it's just like, it's just a more detailed take, right? I believe that like as a man you lead, right? As a man you lead. So it's like if you're leading your partner, your spouse into a relationship where you have to do whatever it is that you need to do in order for your future, for every single goal that you have to be accomplished. Like it's your job to communicate to that person, like, hey, the next 3-6 months, like I'm going to be like in hell. It's going to be busy. I'm going to be really tired. I don't know if we're going to get to do anything fun. I'm not going to spend as much quality time with you, but I will do my best to, put you first when it's necessary. I mean, like, you should always put them first, right? But, life happens.
Yeah.
But they also need to be able to understand that. And if they don't want to sign up for that, if that's not what they want to do, then that's a different conversation.
I think, like, one of the biggest things I've heard recently is, like, your wife has to respect you.
Yeah.
But that respect has to be earned. She doesn't just respect you for no reason. If you do shitty things, she's not going to respect you, And then second of all, as you being a religious person as me as well, is the Bible does say a man is supposed to lead the household. But the Bible also says that a man is supposed to listen to his wife.
Yeah, you're supposed to die to yourself and give yourself to your wife.
So that's part of the communication is I listened to my wife, and then I led the household by making a change that helped for the better. So I kind of made the decision, but she told me the problem. So I can't think of the freaking scripture right now, but basically off the top of my head, it says something like, a man that listens to a wife will be a fruitful life. I think it's something with fruitful in it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't
It's
quote it right
fine.
now.
It's
but
fine. We'll plug it in.
yeah, but basically, if you listen to your wife, you'll be a fruitful man.
You'll be a fruitful man. Yeah. I think, I believe that. And it's pretty straightforward, but you got lucky, man. You got lucky you find a solid one.
I'm sorry, but I don't know. I've been listening to this for a long time, and the past 5 years, last 5 years, I would not want to be in the dating game.
Oh, no. You don't want to be in the dating game. I haven't been in the dating game that long, but from the time, like the year and some change that I've been in the dating game, man, it's rough out here, man.
It is. It's a knife battle, and you brought a spoon, dog.
It's cooked. Not even a spoon, bro. I brought gloves. That's it. I didn't even bring nothing. It's cooked because we have unrealistic expectations. We have disrespect, all this and all that we could get into for hours.
Yeah.
But
and women thinking that they don't need a man.
They don't need a man that they can do it, which is great. I mean, shit.
I agree with some of it. Like, you shouldn't always need a man, but
you shouldn't always need a man, but you should want to need a man. Like, not necessarily need. It's like, I think the keywords need, right? The keywords need is like, you depend, you cannot breathe without this man, this and this and that. Like, obviously, like, you definitely should, as like a regular person, regardless if you're a woman or not, you should be able to rely on yourself and pick yourself up, right? But I think that submission and being submissive is not necessarily giving yourself up. Yeah. It is, but like the want to do that. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
I think part of the problem is like, it's good to be independent as a man or a woman. It's good to be independent.
Yeah.
But if you are comfortable in a relationship, like I think a lot of problem is like women put too much trust into a man instantly. And then they get burnt. And then from that burnt, they learn like, oh,
all men are shit.
Yeah. Which is not the case. You just found a bad apple, Yeah. So I think part of it is like, once you're into a committed relationship and you are into a long-term relationship, you've been together for a year or two, I think you should start transitioning yourself into being independent, yes, but also reliant in certain aspects to your partner. And same with man. Like, I couldn't do this on my own. I couldn't do this without Caitlin.
Yeah, definitely.
I depend on her for certain things, and she depends on me for certain things. So like a relationship, like we keep saying, is all about compromise. Isn't all about teamwork. It's you two versus the world.
It is.
So why wouldn't you be dependent on your man for certain things and he be dependent on you for certain things? Like, both of you should not be fully independent people, because then there's no growth together.
Yeah, there's no team.
Yeah, there's no team. It's just, it's just you two alone. It'd be like if it's kind of, I'm going to go to football for this. You have a quarterback, and then you have the offensive line, you have wide receivers and running backs, stuff like that. That is a team. Now, if it was just one lineman and a quarterback and one wide receiver, and the other team had a lineman, someone to watch the quarterback, and then someone to go out and try to catch the ball from the receiver, you wouldn't make any good plays. Like, it takes a team to do great things. Yeah. Same thing with business. Yeah. Even if you work a job, if you have a shitty team, you're not hitting the sales goal, you're not hitting production, you're not hitting whatever the goal is of your team because you have a crappy team. It takes everyone together to do great things. Same thing with governments. Same thing. If you look at anything during history, no one person did great things alone. Yeah. Even Jesus.
Yeah, even him.
He had disciples. He didn't do it all on his own.
Yeah, they spread his message.
Exactly.
And it takes a great team, and it takes a great leader as well, right? Like, you have Jesus, great leader. You have every single general in every single battle, great leaders. Even the ones that did horrible things, they had a whole team and they had a whole country behind them and stuff because they thought they were great leaders. They were doing a great thing.
takes a team, no matter what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think are qualities of great leaders then?
Qualities of great leaders?
Yeah, what
Listening.
makes people want to be led?
Leading from the front and listening to your team.
Okay.
I think that's the number, like me being as an employee in the past, that's the number one things that I looked for. If I had a supervisor that just sat in the truck all day and just pointed his finger and said, go do this on this, and then he just sat there in the truck all day, I didn't respect him.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is earning your respect from your team.
Yeah, walking the talk.
Yeah. So like lead from the front.
Okay.
If there's one thing I also couldn't stand was like if there was something we had to get done by Monday, we have to work overtime on Saturday, and then the boss doesn't show up because, oh, well, I'm sourly.
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid for it. You know, like I told you what to do.
Yeah,
Go
leaves
do
a
it.
bad taste.
Yeah, it's just like, well, I'm here struggling and you're at home. So one of the number one things that even all of Augusta says is you're the first one to show up and you're the last one to leave. No matter if you're a GM or if you were the owner.
Yeah.
You're the first one to show up, last to leave. And then also, in Mike's instance, like he used to go out on a boat, on a yacht to do work because he needed to be able to get away and focus on stuff, but he would let his team know what he's working on.
Or we bring them in too.
Yeah.
We brought them in a couple times.
And he would also say before he was at that point, like, hey guys, it's, 4:00. I'm out here doing estimates. Whenever you get wrapped up, whatever, like he would send them a video or a voicemail of what he's doing so they know that he's actually working, so they don't get the idea, oh, he's just sitting at home with his feet kicked up, letting us work,
Yeah, he's
making all
just
the
chilling
money. Yeah,
while we're out here busting our asses.
exactly.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just like you said. Even looking at history, George Washington, first president, every single battle that he was in, he was front center. Same thing with like Napoleon. Same thing with Genghis Khan. Same thing with like all those Roman people. First in line. They had a great team, and they were like, "Yeah, let's go do it. Let's all go do
their
it."
team trusted them
Yeah.
with their lives.
Yeah, it's one of those lessons that gets repeatedly taught throughout every single generation. There's great examples, right? Like for example, like even with like Elon Musk right now, bro does not go to his mansion and chill, right? You can call him whatever you want to call him, right? If you like him or not, it doesn't really matter. You can't fight the facts, right? Sleeping on the factory floor throughout like the worst weeks of Tesla, sleeping on the factory floor at SpaceX, going in with the engineers and working on everything and like soliciting parts and, yes, flying his private jet here and there, but for what? For business, bringing his team along, buying out companies and repurposing them with a team in the trenches, right? He's not just like from like some luxurious.
He's not sitting in his office in his mansion making calls.
Exactly.
He's boots on the ground making
Boots
calls.
on the ground, and he's built amazing companies, whether you like it or not. He might be a questionable person from a personal side, but you can't deny the fact that he is a great leader. You cannot possibly build multi-billion-dollar companies if you're not a great leader. That's just not how it works.
From nothing.
He
wasn't handed a multi-million-dollar company and grew it to $1 billion.
Yeah, no, he's insane
Crazy.
guy. Insane guy. Same thing with Jeff Bezos. Same thing with what's this guy's name? Fucking Apple. I'm blanking. Steve Jobs. They all have their controversies. They all probably shitty people at some point, qualities that, are not necessarily the best, but they were in the trenches. They have great leadership, and they had, most importantly, great people around them that believed in their mission, that were indoctrinated, that were whatever, into like their little bubble of thought, and they got the shit done.
You want to know what the number one millionaire of America that was self-made?
Who?
What their career was?
What?
A teacher.
Teacher.
Yep. Teachers are the number one self-made millionaires.
I remember we touched on this, but it's weird because I would think that it's because retirement accounts and because
It is.
all that, right? By the time they retire from teaching, they're like what, 50, 60, 70 years old or something like that. So if they did their due diligence and they did a retirement account early on, by the time they actually it matures and they take out the money, it's a couple $1 million.
What's the number one quality of a teacher?
they teach?
Dedication.
Dedication?
Because no one teaches for the money. Nobody teaches
Yeah.
for the money. It's,
They get
it's a
paid
horrible
like shit.
salary. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's dedication. So they're dedicated to paying off their house. They're dedicated to putting money into a 401k. They're dedicated in what they do.
Yeah, you gotta love what you do.
You gotta love what you do to be a teacher.
Fuck.
You gotta deal with all those little shithead kids like me and you were at one point.
Yeah, I cannot imagine dealing with a classroom full of me. Holy fuck.
No,
That was
I'd go to jail.
horrendous. I'd go to jail.
I'd punch a
I would
kid.
just crash out. Fuck no.
I'd be like, you're 18 now.
You're 18 now.
Let's run it.
Yo, catch me outside, bro. That's crazy.
real.
But no, yeah, it's pretty weird. It's pretty crazy. Life is weird. Don't you think?
Life is crazy. We asked
Yeah,
him
we
to
gotta
come
get
here, and
Caleb.
he's
We
just
gotta
like,
get we gotta get Caleb involved. So we'll hit pause here, and we'll come back for it.
Thank you so much for listening and for watching. It really does mean the world to us, and we really appreciate every single one of you who sticks around all the way until the end. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave us a review on the podcast platform. It really does help us grow. And until next time, see you guys.